Good morning everybody, שפע ברוך ועשו השיעורים שלכם של הקדושים והטהורים. ראה אנוכי, our parasha tells us something very important. ראה, look, see, what? ראה אנוכי נותן לפניכם היום ברכה וקללה. 1 minute, I want to find the passage exactly. ראה אנוכי נותן לפניכם היום ברכה וקללה. I'm giving now in front of you a blessing and a curse. The blessing, את הברכה אשר תשמעו מצוות השם. If you listen to God, to the mitzvahs, אשר אנוכי מצווה, which I order you today, והקללה and the curse, if you don't listen to the mitzvahs of God. And the first one is, if I'm saying, ראה אנוכי נותן לפניכם היום ברכה וקללה, and then I'm explaining, so I don't need the title ברכה וקללה, I can read it like this. ראה אנוכי נותן לפניכם היום, I'm putting in front of you, look, yes, very important, look, see, I'm putting in front of you today the blessing if you listen to God, and the curse if you don't listen to God. I said it. So why do we need bracha v'klala, and then they explain to us? And it's also a puzzle, because bracha v'klala, it looks like bracha, a blessing and a curse. Like, it looks like the same thing is a blessing and a curse. Can it be? Can the same thing be a blessing and a curse together? It's very interesting and a very important point. For example, this guy had a big business deal abroad, which is going to give him business for the next 5 years. Had competition, and he had a meeting with this guy in abroad, and he's booked a flight. In the morning, he's getting in the taxi, and in the middle of the way, there was an accident, a traffic jam. The traffic doesn't move. Eventually, he gets to the airport. Too late. The plane already left, and he is really upset. He doesn't know what to do. And then on top of it, he finds out that his competition, who was on the waiting list of this flight because there was no place anymore, he got his place on top of everything. It got him crazy. Wow. Not enough, I missed the flight. My competition is on the flight and he's going to get this business. What can he do? He's taking a taxi back home, and 2 hours later, the radio announced that there was a plane crash, and the plane that he was supposed to be on crashed. Now, he said, Baruch Hashem, thank you God, and said a gomel in shul. He thought that this was the biggest curse, losing the business for 5 years. Wow! And it was the greatest blessing of all. He was saved. His life was saved. God saved his life. This is a blessing. From the other side, the guy that took his place, he thought, wow, I am blessed. Look what I'm going to get now. And unfortunately, instead of blessing, it was a curse. The thing is, we have to look at things in the right eyes and understand what we see. Or HaChaim HaKadosh brings this famous story about this crossroad, that an old guy is standing there, and when people come, they see one side, the right side, is paradise. Unbelievable, beautiful road, trees, birds, water. And on the other side, on the left side, terrible place. Holes, desert, no road, holes in the ground. It looks like hell. But now, this old guy says, look, listen, you see in your eyes, you see the right way? It looks terrible, but 10 minutes walk, and it turns into paradise. Unbelievable place. The other side, that looks like paradise in the beginning, 10-minute walk, and it becomes hell. And a terrible way. You got no chance to go through it. Now, what would you do? Very simple. And we are going to choose the way that looks terrible, because we know that in 10 minutes time it's going to be paradise. Who with common sense will choose the way that looks like paradise, but eventually after 10 minutes it becomes hell? Who? But if there is nobody there in the crossroad, what are we going to do? What are you going to choose? And we all know that we are tempted to do a lot of things that if we would have thought about it a little more and listened to this old guy inside of us, to the neshama, we will not go this way. We run after the desire and the lust and all the joys of the physical, materialistic world, not realizing what is going to happen later on. From the other side, sometimes those places that look difficult and unbelievable, those are the places where you're going to gain paradise after you walk the first steps. This world is Olam HaMaaseh. It's where we have to work to achieve the Olam Haba. It's not always easy. And it's not supposed to be easy, because we have to work, we have to do things. The problem is that we have to listen to this old guy, which is telling us, think about what's going to happen later on. Don't act on a pulse like, oh, no, I want it, I want it. ראה אנוכי נותן לפניכם ברכה וקללה. What you see can be a blessing and can be a curse. If you listen to God, unbelievable blessing. If you don't listen to God, it's going to be a curse. Talking about blessing and curse, sometimes our biggest problem is that we just don't listen and we don't look where we're supposed to look and don't act. Do you know the three monkeys? You know the three monkeys? One is the hand of the mouse, the one on the eyes, and the other one, the third one on the ears. Do you know it? Yeah, I'm sure you know. Everybody knows it. You know, I was looking about it in the internet and I found out something unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. We all know it, that this is somebody who ignores what's happening around him and not acting when he's supposed to act. But what I saw was unbelievable. First of all, the source is Confucius, this Chinese philosopher, famous Chinese philosopher that had a lot of good sayings. And he says about those three monkeys, don't see evil, don't speak evil, and don't listen to evil. And if we want to translate it to what we say, don't listen to Lashon Hara, don't speak Lashon Hara, don't look where you're not supposed to look. I was amazed, because we know it in the opposite way. And this is the explanation that we know. If somebody sees bad things happening around him, and he has the power to do things, and he doesn't do anything, like he's buried his head in the sand, like a Bat Yana, or like the three monkeys. I didn't see, I don't see, I don't see, I don't see, okay, it's okay. We see the corruption around us. We hear this hatred, the Lashon Hara, and the way people talk on the Torah. What do? We don't open our mouth to say something. We don't act, we don't do anything. And this is unbelievable. In other words, this is a curse. ראה אנוכי נותן לפניכם היום. Act accordingly. Do the good in the eyes of God. And again, here you have blessing and you have a curse. And you know, we don't need Confucius. That's, by the way, then later on he went to Japan, those three monkeys. It's written in the Mishnah, it's written. And it's written, sorry, in Mishle it's written. And sorry, again, no, it's in Tehillim. And David HaMelech is saying, on the idols worshipper. עיניים להם ולא יראו, אוזניים להם ולא ישמעו, אף להם ולא יאכלון, ידיהם ולא ימשון. Yes, they've got eyes, those idols, but they can't see anything. They've got a mouth, they cannot talk, cannot do anything. This is the idols, that if we trust the idols, if we act like idols, we are idols. Like we don't see what we're supposed to see. We don't do what we're supposed to do. We don't go where we're supposed to go. Or even worse, we go where we're not supposed to go. We look where we're not supposed to look. Like the three monkeys. So we have to understand and realize the way to go is look around, see what's happening, and realize that we have to act. We cannot just sit down and do nothing. Everybody in his own little way. And I was talking about it this week. What can we do? What can't we do? So first of all, to spread hatred against hatred, this is not a solution. We have to spread love. But how you spread love to those who do this, all those evil things? You can show them in a nice way. What is Torah? What is the basic of everything? We that believe, we know that without the Torah there is nothing. But we have to show them how we behave. When you say those small things that we do, we talked about in the past, how do we behave? To try, first of all, on ourselves, which is also a very hard job, to see the blessing and the curse, and then show it to our family, show it to our friends, to our community. And when we show all the others, because unfortunately they know, those who speak against the Torah, they know nothing, they don't know what Torah is, unfortunately. So we have to try and do it, and try and do it in the best way there is. This is what God is telling us. And it all starts with small things. We all know that things that used to be taboo, forbidden, 20, 30, 40 years ago, today, we just go walk around and everything is okay. Like we don't see it anymore. We run after what we think is a blessing. Like this small factory, it was in Tel Aviv, and he won a big order, huge order. He gave the best price and he won it. But then he realized that he is not capable to manufacture all those products with the stuff that he's got. So he had to bring more stuff, more machinery, take more space. And he realized that it's costing him too much. It's not going to do it. He cannot do it. It cannot. Cut the long story short. He tried to make the pipe thinner, whatever, and of course they checked it and it wasn't good. He lost the business. So he thought, what a blessing! I got this big order. But instead of blessing, it was a curse. Because in life, you have to look a little farther out. Like this old guy. Look, not look at what is shiny and looks brilliant and unbelievable. Look what's behind it. What's going to happen later on. Don't be short-sighted. And I want to end it with the Rav Adam Sinai says, we need to put 20% on the physical side of life and 80% on the spiritual side of life, the Torah. Unfortunately, we act otherwise. Some people put 100% on the physical side. And some people talk like 100% of the spiritual side, which is also wrong. The right proportion, it doesn't mean that physically, it means spiritually. What what is more important for you from the spiritual side, from the mind. What is for you the most important thing? You can work 8 hours and learn 2 hours. Yes. But the 2 hours you learn, what you think about it, like the value of it is 80%, and the value of the work is 20%. We are now in war. Do we think that the tanks and the planes are winning the war? If we think like this, we are idol worshippers. We don't see the truth. We don't understand what the blessing really is. The blessing is in the Torah. In other words, yes, we need tanks, we need cannons, we need the airplanes, we need all of it. But more than those things, we need the Torah. The Torah is what wins the war. We need the physical tools, but understand that the power of the physical tools is only 20%. The power of Am Yisrael, 80% Torah. And if we learn this, then we can look at the world in a good eye and understand. Blessing is if we go in the way of God. And the curse is if we go against God. If we don't participate and go in the right. If we put the Torah in the right place. If we put the love to God, the love that the Torah spreads in the right place, everything will look differently. All the best and have a beautiful week.